We're in contact in the vital area. Away the Nixie team away. Away the Nixie team away. Set general quarters. Set general quarters. General quarters, all hands, leave out of station. General quarters, all hands, leave out of station.
Good evening, everyone. You're listening to Sackheads Against Tyranny. Tonight, Clint and BZ are going to tear through the gristle of today's screaming headlines and rip out the sinewy tendons of truth ensconced within, all from the hoary streets of Sacramento, Fornicalia, exposing the trembling toadies, the sniveling jackanapes, and the fripperious fop doodles infesting leftist and progressive brain-housing groups nationally. Featuring the effervescent contrarian sackheads, Clint. Say that again.
I am not a contrarian.
I'm pretty sure you are.
I absolutely am not.
And also featuring the unrestrained bulbosity of the Zeppmeister. We're doubling your late-night conservative talk show pleasure with double a host's elements that, when combined, produce, well, generally delayed borborygmus, and in some cases, true elegance. Some contents may have settled during shipping. A member FDIC batteries not included. Warranty void in Montenegro. Just thought I should tell everybody. So
And Russia.
And Russia. Exactly. So today is Wednesday.
Yes.
The 15th of August. My God, it's the 15th of August already.
I know.
2018.
I can't wait for fall.
You know, it's funny. You say that. Hey, did you plan this? Look at us. Look at us.
Yes.
Red shirt, red shirt.
We've been texting all week.
Big flag.
We've been texting all week. By the way, a nice hat.
I got that when I was in charge of the motor program back when I was the EVOC sergeant.
BMW motorcycles, in my humble opinion, are fantastic.
Okay.
I look, anybody that knows me knows that I have two of them, not because I'm rolling in fat cash. But
you are rolling in fat cash.
I am not. I am not. I paid. I'm not. I have an RT 1100. If that tells you how old the bike is.
Well, the other thing is, I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
It is. It's a beautiful bike.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Beautiful bike. And that engine will run forever. That engine will run. And I have one of the best mechanics. Has been a best mechanics ever. The guy's actually he's actually very well known in the state, but he does a tremendous job taking care of it. That bike will run forever.
Okay, this is maybe a little bit of inside baseball. You don't take it to A&S, do you?
Absolutely not.
Good man.
Absolutely not.
Good man. Good for you.
No, I have not had good experiences at that place, and the people that work there, at least the ones I've dealt with, have been less than
stellar,
friendly, and less than helpful.
Yes, I would go along with that. See,
I go up to Ozzy's.
God, get out of my head. Okay,
Yeah.
Since you brought up Ozzy, let me tell you a story.
I was just there this weekend.
Okay, let me tell you a story.
Yeah.
Folks, I was in charge of the EVOC motor program, which is why I'm wearing my BMW Police Motors hat. And I didn't teach the courses. I took a course, I passed it, blah, blah, blah. So I was teaching guys occasionally on police motors. Well, so BMW gave me the hat. Okay, fine. Normally, all the police motors that ride BMWs in the Sacramento area take them to A&S, which is in just outside of Roseville, I think, right off Interstate 80.
It's in Roseville.
Is it actually within the city of Roseville?
I think it's a Roseville address, yeah.
Okay, so anyway, I was never happy with the service that I got from A&S because I had, let's see, I had a fleet of 10 non-dresser Beamers that people would ride on because you teach in the dirt and up these terrible steps and you beat the hell out of them, okay? And then I had a fleet of 6 or 7 runouts. And then I had the runouts basically are washed up dressers that get retired. They've got all the bags on them and everything, but you don't train in them because when the students drop the bikes, and the students will always drop the bikes every damn day, they always drop the bikes. So I was replacing crap.
Did you fail them as soon as they dropped a bike?
We failed them. Here's the thing from the very beginning. We taught you how to pick up a motorcycle. And one of the very first tests that we gave you is we laid a dresser down, and we kind of patted it and whatnot, and we showed you how to lift up your dresser, a full-size BMW police motor. And you lean into it, back, grab, lean, pull, push with your legs. That's the only way to get a police motor up off the pavement so you don't look like a raving fool. And if you couldn't pull up the dresser, from the very first hour after we said, hello, introductory class, let's go out and see if you can pull up a dresser. And if you didn't do it, you didn't continue with the rest of the 1 week or the 2 week class, depending on which class we were giving at the time. So basically that was, we had short people. I could pull up a dresser. I'm about 5'2", even I could do that, but there were some people that didn't have the ability to do that, and those
it's
were
not easy, particularly if you try to muscle it.
No, you can't muscle it. It's all about leverage and technique, and we teach you the technique. We tell you how to do it. We instruct on how to do it, and then we show it to you all over again, and then we make corrections. Okay, you need to do this. You're not doing it this way. And even after the corrections, if you can't pick up the bike, you're done in the first day. Actually, you're done in the first hour, which in my estimation, that's the way it ought to be. Now, having said that, everybody said that for the program, I need to take all my bikes to A&S BMW. BMW has a clause in their system which says there can be no competing BMW dealerships within 50 miles of each other. So I thought to myself, if I don't take my BMW motorcycles to A&S, is there somebody else that I'm going to take my bikes to? And the answer is, just like you said, Ozzy's. Okay, now Ozzy's is in Chico. Ozzy's, this is very important for this story, Ozzy's is more than 50 miles away.
Oh, yes. Ozzy's is 88 miles away.
Yes, from Sacramento, and the training that I was doing was out in Rancho Cordova. So, yeah, 88 miles
You're
plus...
looking about 100 miles.
Yeah, you're looking at probably at least 90 miles. Let's be gentle.
So it's 88 from Roseville.
Okay.
So plus into Sacramento and then through Rancho, it's probably closer to 100.
Okay. Okay, let's say it is 100 miles. Then I decided, and then I did try to take a couple of bikes to Ozzy's, to A&S, and A&S, they just set me on ignore mode. Okay, apparently I didn't have enough bikes to interest them. I had 25 bikes, and apparently that fleet wasn't big enough for them. So everybody else, no kidding, everybody else got first priority. So after a while, I said something similar to, fuck that, and I decided there's got to be somebody else. I found Ozzy's in Chico. Sent my motor program director up to Ozzy's. Now, Ozzy, if you don't know him, and I'm sorry, I couldn't even tell you if Ozzy is alive today. Is Ozzy still around? Do you know?
I don't know. I dealt with I believe it was his son.
Okay, well let me tell you what what Ozzy was back when I was doing this, right around
the turn of the century.
Yeah, right around the turn of the century.
Literally. Well, I'm not being a smartass.
No, you are saying literally. No, that's right around 2000.
Thank you.
2004.
That's around the turn of the century.
Yeah, it is. It is. Okay, I'm admitting that. So I went up to Ozzy. Now, it's named Ozzy because the guy's name is Ozzy, and I can't even think of his last name.
It's not Osborne.
But at the time,
it's not Osborne.
This guy who owns Ozzy's, it's Ozzy himself. This guy is in his 80s. Okay? So my coordinator, Pete Benino, goes up there. He used to work for Roseville PD. He cuts a deal with Ozzy, and we say essentially, look, my director, the sergeant, me, has told me to come up, make nice to you, and we want to have you service our bikes. Let's cut to the chase. To service our bikes from Chico, Ozzy himself would drive in a pickup and a flatbed trailer from Chico down to Rancho Cordova, lift his bikes, lift all the bikes that we had to be serviced, repaired, etc., because we fucked up a lot of bikes. You can imagine. Ozzy himself came down to pick up the bikes, trailered them all the way up to Chico, and then when he's through with them, they got precedence over anybody else. Ozzy himself again trailers all our damn bikes back to Rancho, helps us unload the bikes, and says thank you to us.
Yeah.
What the hell? And by the way, I should also indicate, not once, because I looked over all the invoices, not once did I get charged for any delivery or transportation fees. So when the time came for me to buy two, and I don't know what the program is even doing these days, I bought two brand new bikes Not from ANS, and I heard back from certain people that me not taking the bikes to ANS, number one, that really torqued everybody's camshaft, and number two, when I went up to Ozzy's.
With your agency?
Oh, yeah.
Or at ANS?
Oh, no. Well, it torqued off ANS, but it also torqued off a lot of people that, for whatever reason, were beholden to ANS.
Oh, well.
Yeah. OFW is what I said.
Yeah.
So when I made a contract with Ozzy, how can you deny that this guy who's in his 80s is doing all this stuff for us?
Yep.
Holy mother of God, I'd be a moron not to say, God, yes, Ozzy, we love the hell out of you.
Yeah.
So after that, and the way he treated us, I bought 2 brand new BMW RTPs from him back in, I think, 05 or 06, right around there. Because he treats us like gold.
Yeah.
Well, and that goes back to BMWs. That's why I'm wearing the hat, and that's why you're riding a BMW.
And here's the thing, even with that, I for me personally, and in my experience, Ozzy's prices in terms of parts and all this other stuff has been better than ANS. But I will pay more. I'm the guy that will pay more
to get treated
because
right.
of customer service.
Bingo.
You know, I'm not going to pay like $5,000 more for a bike or anything because that's stupid. But I will pay a few hundred more for a bike.
Yep.
Or I'll pay $20 to $50 more for a part, depending on what it is.
Sure.
To go through a company or a business that treats me right.
If they treat you well, if they're consistent, if their service is good, and when you walk in, it's either, hey, Sackheads Clint, or your last name or anything like that, and how you doing? Good to see you. What can we do for you today? And you say, I got this and this and this. I'll have this done on, day after, whatever it is, and you can bank on it. You can take it to the bank. Your bike is done in that amount of time. That's why you go back to those guys.
Yep.
Even though it is 1,000 miles away.
100.
100 miles.
88.
Maybe I shouldn't have named that business, but
Why?
I'm not the only one that's disappointed.
Hang on. We're not saying don't go to a
No,
business.
no. I'm not saying it. I'm just saying
we're
that
not saying,
my personal experience
exactly.
with that business in Roseville was execrable, and I'm being kind.
And my experiences with that business has not been favorable either, and I don't think there's anything wrong with us talking about our personal experiences. We're not saying, oh, don't go there. We're not go by all means if you want to go there and it's close and convenient. And
who's to say that thing hasn't completely changed? There's new management. They kicked a lot of people out, and everybody has nothing but huzzahs to say about that place in Roseville. Could be. I'm just saying about how they treated me back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, you didn't know this. I know you didn't know this. I had an 83 or 84 BMW R100 RT.
Okay.
And it was the lightest 1000 I ever had in my entire life. If nobody's ever had one of the opposed twin-cylinder BMWs, they're the weirdest damn engine then that you could ever feature.
It was still the air-cooled
air-cooled
oil. Yep,
slightly offset cylinders with the Bing carburetors on them, and it shook like a 1903 biplane. As a matter of fact, before I started that thing, I used to shout at the top of my lungs,
all clear?
Yeah,
Fire on the hole?
Yeah, I used to I used to say, you know what guys that used to start engines in World War I, they used to say contact.
Yeah.
I used to scream that and then start it, and the whole bike would shake like this.
But that BMW engine, I mean, they refined it so you don't have that much vibration. But that engine,
getting it up to speed,
up until
that thing was gorgeous.
That engine, up until I believe the 1200s, really didn't change much, right?
No.
When the RTs began, I believe it was the 1200s, began being liquid cooled. That engine did not change much from way back when. I mean, you look at a BMW engine or a BMW motorcycle from even when Germany was rolling those in World War II. It's a similar looking engine. I mean, it's a proven design.
It's not much different
to it. Yeah, I mean, nowadays everything's electric. Those new BMW RTs, you jump on and it calculates your weight, how much luggage you have on, what are you doing. While you're riding it it calculates your speed and your angle and all this other stuff, and it automatically adjusts your suspension for the ride. And are you in twisties or are you, what is it you're doing? It's absolutely ridiculous. You can't even service it at a regular mechanic. It literally has to go to a BMW shop, dealership, to be plugged in to diagnose everything on it. That's the main thing preventing me from getting a brand new Beamer. But I love the bike so much.
I loved it. See, here's the other thing that I know you know. It's this. Even though it was in the early 80s that I purchased this thing and I bought it used, I actually drove to San Rafael BMW, had my girlfriend at the time drop me off so I could ride it all the way back. It was that gorgeous. It was a gorgeous, beautiful metal flake, powder blue color. Everything in it was sterling. It was beautiful. The assembly was tight. I mean, talk about quality in this motorcycle. Had the bags, had the trunk, had the bar for the passenger. There were some strange things about a BMW back then. Like I say, the cylinders were offset.
Oh, I was going to say the turn signals.
So your legs were, and the turn signals are weird as hell.
So they're the European turn signals.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know so the new Beamer bikes don't have this. My GS does not have this. It has regular, but the turn signals on the Beamers, they had the whole. If you wanted to go right, you press the right turn signal, and so as you're kind of leaning the bike over, you press that right turn signal. If you want to go left, your left turn signal is on the left
side. Yes.
So you press it, and as you let the left turn signal, and you roll out. But that was the weird that
you just got to get used to it. It's just one of those things. You have to get used to it, and I got used to it. But putting your feet down on the pegs, you noticed one of the first things is that your feet were altered because of the cylinders not being directly in alignment. So I don't remember which foot, but one foot was slightly ahead and the other one was back. Now in the summertime, I feel like Mungo Jerry. In the summertime when the weather is hot. In the summertime, there's no shield. And those engines are all exposed and it's air cooled. And if you're not wearing jeans on a BMW in that bike in the summertime, your legs are going to get a little roasty because your legs are right next to the cylinders. Yeah. And they run a little warm. But my God, I miss that thing. That was absolutely gorgeous.
You should get another one.
The fit and finish on that bike, even back in the 80s, was gorgeous.
You should get one.
And I'm sure you think the fit and finish of yours is red, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, mine's red. It's Amaretto Rot is actually the color. That's German, and I don't know what the hell it means.
Rot.
Rot
it's
red.
Rot.
Whatever the hell it is.
Red.
I don't speak Nazi. But
but you
I'm
drive
kidding. Anybody in Germany,
them.
I'm just being an asshole because that's what I do. I'm sorry, but no, I don't speak German. But yeah, I like the color. It's an like I said, it's an older bike, but I love it, man. It rides smooth.
Yeah.
I got
you did the same thing I did. I bought a used one. You bought a used one. Yours is a hell of a lot newer and has a ton more stuff than mine did. But I just dreamed back to this thing, and it was class. It was so damn cool. Yeah, it wasn't real fast. It wasn't real quick. But once you got it up to speed and it was rolling, that thing would roll at 80 or 90 all day long.
Yeah, I don't know if mine. I know mine will go 65. I don't know if it'll go any faster.
Of course.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Of course.
But I tell you the.
Right.
I love like even mine's a 96. And I get people all the time come up to me, oh man, that's a great, because you find out there's a whole group of people that actually like, and this isn't motorcycle chat, we're gonna get into politics, I promise.
But it is motorcycle chat for a while
right now, and it's our show, so we can talk about whatever the fuck we want.
You
so
got
bear
it,
with us.
Bingo. Yep.
So
roll with it.
But there is a group of people that really actually I get compliments on that bike a lot. But
they're gorgeous. They're so beautifully assembled.
Is a group of people that really like the airhead, those oil head bikes.
Yep.
They do, and I get a ton of compliments on it. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with it. Well, I have no desire to get a brand new one just because of all the electronics and everything else. More shit to go wrong or honk out for you. I mean,
and nobody's a real mechanic anymore. The people that fix bikes and fix cars anymore, they're just parts replacers.
Yeah.
But
a lot of them.
For the old one that I had, oh yeah, well you pretty much had to be
another one, BZ.
A mechanic. Well, it was gorgeous.
Get another one.
It was absolutely gorgeous.
Get a new bike.
New one?
No, a new old one.
Yeah, now a new old one.
Get a new old one.
Might consider.
You would do
that.
like on an older K bike, one of their BMW.
Oh,
K,
the squareheads, the Ks.
Yes.
There weren't that many made of those though, were there?
Oh, they're still around.
Are they?
That's their big, comfortable touring.
Yeah.
Because the RT is more of a sport tourer.
And then, oh my God, the big one that they've got now, their massive dresser is a 6-cylinder. That's like riding your sofa.
It's a 60. I believe it's the K1600. It's a K bike. Yeah. It's their K1600.
It's a 6-cylinder 1600, and it's like driving your sofa down the freeway.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Even the cases for it now on that one, they have one model where the cases are kind of teardrop. Actually, it looks mean.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Because I was looking at, for whatever reasons, I was looking at Indians the other day.
Like the baseball team,
well,
or like engines,
like the motorcycles.
The motorcycle. Okay.
Victories, victories are okay.
Look, I didn't know. There's several reservations around here,
and
so
there are. The Indians have kind of a weird. You either love it or you hate their teardrop shape bagger that they've got, and a lot of people like Harleys and Victories and Indians because they're inherently low. The frame is such that, and my legs are so stubby. I will admit I had a hell of a time doing foot dabs and whatnot, and it was not easy for me to do any of that stuff. But anyway, like Dave Milner says, stream of consciousness radio. I love it. Okay, great. Well, thanks for that.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know either. Beantown Billy, by the way, just came into chat.
Is that bad?
Not necessarily. Huh. Guest 6217 is
Hello,
in chat.
Guest 6217.
Sean is in chat himself.
Hello, Sean.
And one viewer is in chat. What happened is that Sean was talking about what the heck happened to Facebook and why we're not broadcasting on Facebook anymore.
Hey, you know what, Sean? If you were here, then you could question us. But until then, you just sit over there and enjoy the show.
And he was also talking about how we're now on Facebook. We never stopped with YouTube, but now we're on. We don't do Facebook. We do YouTube, and we also do Periscope.
For now, until we're told not to because we're conservative.
Yeah, but so anyway, Sean says, by the way, sup, bitches? And then Sean says, I was explaining, you big-nosed son of a bitch. So the cool thing about Periscope, we got a lot of hits on that. For the first time we even went to Periscope, I didn't know why, but now I do. Periscope is owned by Twitter. When you start a Periscope feed, it sends a message, notifications out to Twitter if people follow you.
Oh.
So it's kind of cool. It lets people know, hey, the show is starting, and boop, Periscope comes up. So, yeah, I thought that was kind of cool.
I watched a really cool movie last night because I couldn't sleep.
Uh-oh, what was it?
So I watched two movies, The Hunt for Red October.
Oh, classic, 1982, 83?
No, 80, yeah, maybe. And, wait for this one.
The Typhoon Submarine.
Yes, with the Caterpillar drive.
Yep.
Wait for this one.
Okay.
I'll give you a hint.
All right.
I don't know for sure, I believe it was Tom Cruise's first movie. Don't be Googling it.
No, I'm not Googling it.
And one of Sean Penn's first movie.
Changing his views.
If it wasn't the first movie.
Sean Penn, I'd say Breakfast Club.
No. Sean Penn. So I'll give you the actors. And George C. Scott.
Oh, okay. All right. You're talking about the Tom Cruise movie now, right?
So Tom Cruise, George C. Scott, and Sean Penn all in this movie together.
Oh, I can't think of the name, but
1981.
It's the one where they're at the military academy.
Yes. Taps.
Is Taps. Okay.
Yes.
I didn't know the name, but yeah.
What a great movie.
The one at the military academy. Okay.
Yes.
I remember Tom Cruise being in it and George C. Scott.
Sean Penn was in it
I didn't remember Sean Penn.
Yes.
Okay.
Sean Penn was in it as well. Great movie.
Very
that
interesting.
absolutely had nothing to do with anything, but I wanted to share it with you.
And I thought, and Hunt for Red October, Vasily.
Great movie. So
just one ping.
One ping only.
One ping only.
Let me ask you a question. Do you feel scared in this state? And this is a serious question.
Okay.
This isn't a trick question or anything like that. And I don't mean scared like, are you walking down the street and do you think the boogeyman's going to get you? Because I don't think either one of us sitting in this room is worried about that in the least, right? We know how to take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
But I'm
wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Take care of ourselves.
Yeah. But I mean, do you feel scared in this state? Like, of the government, I guess it is. And I was thinking about this today. So let me tell you. I'm going to tell you a story. And it's not a funny story or a feel good story at all. I was literally just thinking about this today.
Okay.
As I was around, and I wanted to ask you this question because I was thinking to myself. So I was like, wow, I am actually afraid of the government of the state of California. Not afraid like they're going to like execute me or anything like that. But I'm afraid because I honestly believe that the government in the state of California would, and maybe even has, begun to target conservatives. And targeting conservatives. And what I mean, I'm afraid, I'm talking about there's a fear that that I may not be able to comfortably exercise certain constitutional rights. I'm not talking about the Second Amendment. I'm talking specifically right now at this moment about the First Amendment. My freedom of speech, for example, or my freedom to put out information. I saw something somewhere where the Secretary of State's office was putting together like some kind of cyber security team to kind of combat like cyber, hacks and so forth for elections, which, hey, I understand the need to do that. But it has me thinking, and some of the things, if you look at what, and we've talked about this on this show, what the press release the Secretary of State put out, some of the things coming out of that office and how it seems like he's using his office to put out partisan bullshit and not to kind of, and I understand it's a partisan office, but in terms of putting information out to voters and monitoring things, it kind of scares me a little bit, because if he's monitoring stories and doing accuracy checks and these sorts of things.
I remember they wanted to do that for school books.
Yes.
California wanted to do that for school books, but apparently you're focusing in on something unlike that. You're talking more.
I'm talking about voters.
More generically?
Yes, I'm talking reaching voters, for example, or those sorts of things.
Okay.
And you look at some of the legislation that California has looked at, is looking at, has kind of pushed through, and even the zero tolerance for conservative ideas, and it's not. I'm not talking about the CNN version of like legitimate true Nazis. Nobody fucking likes legitimate true Nazis. Nobody likes them.
Well, both folks, for the leftists and leftards that are listening right now, I'm going to make a statement. White nationalists and supremacists, etc., they can go to hell. I will always predicate whatever I say upon this. No one is equal until everyone is equal. And that applies to both sides of the aisle and every melanin hue you can think about across this entire planet. So does BZ eschew Nazis? Unequivocally, yes. There, I've stated it. I've made the statement.
Yeah, and it's true. We've talked about this, right? But look at some of the things coming out of from like Kamala Harris.
She's going to be 2020. What do you bet? She's going to be it for 2020.
Probably, but you look at the identity politics that she's playing, and you look at the push to silence conservatives. And so when I say hey, I'm afraid of the California government, I don't mean like I'm afraid because I think I'm in bodily danger. I mean I'm afraid because I'm afraid that conservative Californians are going to lose, at least in the short term until it goes before the Supreme Court, we are going to lose our liberties. There are certain liberties we're going to lose. We've already started to lose some. You look at 2A and some other things. But look, if we say something that somebody doesn't like or it makes them feel icky, they can call the police and they can say that it's a hate incident. Did you know that? There's something called a fucking hate incident. Did you know that?
In California?
In California. It's not a crime. It's a hate incident.
Okay, then the first thing that I ask you, though,
sure,
is it a mandated report?
It's not a mandated report, but people are being trained that if they perceive something, so if you tell me, hey, Clint, go screw yourself, and I perceive that the reason you said that was because I have a big nose or because I'm 1% black, then I can fill out a report and say that you took place in a hate incident against me based on my feelings.
So...
And here's the kicker. Now, if that report is documented somewhere and you get into an incident or something else happens down the road and somebody says the same thing, they can pull all of these hate incidents. Oh, yeah.
Fuck me.
Yes. Because
China. That's like China. China is doing social credits right now.
Because you feel like something. So, I know I'm kind of going a few different directions here right now, but I think it's a bigger discussion to be had. And look, the fact that that I even have that thought, or the fact that I even had that feeling, is a problem. No American citizen should
even remotely
feel that way, right? Or think that way.
That they have to worry about their government. Folks, we're going to have to take a break. We're about a minute over. We're going to take a break. We're going to come right back. We're going to continue with that thought. And the reason that I say that, and the reason that I think it's important, and the reason that I believe that Sackhead Clint saying it right now is important, is that whatever kind of GERP starts here, you cannot stop it from going across the border and trying to fuck up your state, your very personal state. So if you think, hey, it can't happen in my state, I'd say you better open up your eyes a little bit more, okay?
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capital, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad.
When dirty politicians, shadow governments, and deceptive Islam blind the world with fake stream media smoke, their only fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through shrmedia.com, highplanestalkradio.com, and the Western Free Radio Network at Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes for a different perspective weekly on the Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender ever,
because truth is not always pleasant.
Hey guys, it's Sackhead Clint. I'm excited to tell you about a brand new show here on the SHR Media Network. I'm teaming up with the one and only all-powerful, the bloviating Zeppelin, sitting here to my left, bringing to you a fresh new show here on the network. It's Against Tyranny. And we'll be picking up where the Sackheads left off. Excited to be with you, sir.
Sackheads Against Tyranny.
We're going to chat. We're going to chat Wednesday nights. Sackheads Against Tyranny.
Wednesday night, 11 p.m. Oh, it's the same time, right? 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific.
Same SAC time, same SAC channel.
Yeah. shrmedia.com.
See what I did there?
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
Hey, BZ. So the plan's working. You got rid of Sacco. Sean is now stepping away.
I never even saw him.
And I know, and insidious. You know, we talked about this for for the last 3 years, and finally coming to fruition.
You know I'm still in the room, right?
It's almost like he's here still. Did you hear that?
Yeah, it's kind of.
It's amazing. It's kind of
at you.
It's kind of eerie.
Kind of a poltergeist.
Like a poltergeisty thing.
Yeah, sackheads against tyranny.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Well, it's the second half hour of the SHAT Show. Thanks for being in chat. Actually, it's SHAT Chat as we broadcast from Sacramento, Fornicalia. And we've got Sackheads Clint right over there. There he is, Sackheads Clint. Yay! And the two of us, and then there's Sackheads BZ. And I'm going to finish up kind of what I started. Clint asked a question, and that was this. Do you, BZ, feel kind of uncomfortable in the state? And
I said scared.
You're scared. And I will respond by saying, I don't feel scared, but I do feel uncomfortable. And I feel that I'm not the future of California. And by the way, California really, truly wants me to get the hell out. They don't want to have anything to do with me. I'm a conservative. Apparently, I'm in the middle class. I make way too much money for some people. I make way too little money for people that live in San Jose, San Francisco, Silicon Valley, etc. This is not my state. I grew up here. I was born here a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, but I do not feel comfortable in this state, and I fear for the people that stay behind in this state. California is losing more people at a greater rate than almost any other time in its history, and for excellent and valid reasons. They're going to tax and regulate the crap out of everybody here, so that eventually all you're going to have are the super rich and the super poor, and anything in the middle is going to be gone. It will have been driven out completely. And I really don't want to have anything to do with this state. I went into the entire second hour last night was over Prop 47, Prop 57, how they've screwed over this state, how San Francisco is in the middle of a drug and a criminal crisis because California loves its criminals and its illegals. Then I talked about 1810, where AB 1810 essentially said that, by the way, if you have a mental health issue and you commit a crime, and the list of crimes that would fit under that include killing people. Mm-hmm. It's just insane. That, if for no other reason, is the best reason to get the hell out of here. Afraid? No, I'll be honest. I carry, okay?
I'm not talking about afraid for your personal safety.
But uncomfortable? Don't like the state? Hate the state, hate its policies, hate its politicians, and I don't mind using that word, hate, despise, despiction. Yeah, those all are applicable to me in terms of how I feel about this state.
Do you think that, and I'm not scared for my personal safety.
No, I'm not either. It's
but,
not a
but
matter
what I mean
of
is,
that.
Are you and what I'm afraid for, I'm afraid because I do.
You know who you should be afraid for? You should be afraid for your children.
Oh no, I'm not, because they won't be here, and I teach them how to take care of themselves.
Okay, all right. Well, then your plan is to leave.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
There you go. Excellent plan.
But do you think that that there will come a time in the state where it won't be? I already don't recognize it, but where the Constitution will be kind of just gone, Like conservatives can't speak. I mean, conservatives already have a hard time speaking freely, but once in a while the Ninth Circuit will back us up. Not very often. The Supreme Court will back us up.
Let me tell you about a guy that a really cool cat that I interviewed last night for the first hour. A political conservative named Kurt Schlichter. Kurt Schlichter writes for townhall.com. He's written for the New York Post. He's written for all sorts of newspapers, magazines, etc. He's a former U.S. Army colonel. He went to Kosovo. He went to Afghanistan. He commanded troops. He was a leader. Like I say, he retired a full bird colonel in the U.S. Army. He's done his time. He's an attorney. He works for Schornack and Schlichter, so he owns his own business. He's been on CNN, on Don Lemon. Don Lemon pulled his plug and kicked him off the air and went to a commercial. He talked about all those things. And one of the things he said is, one of the reasons I wanted to talk to him last night is because he's written 2 books. And the first one is called People's Republic. The second one is called Indian Country. And the thesis is this: the left and the right have split the nation. And the left own California. And there is literally a dividing line of conservatives and leftists throughout the rest of the United States, because he took that to what he considered to be the logical extension, the logical conclusion. And how can you say that something like that won't exist? Because I don't think leftists are through pushing. They're not through pushing.
They're not. And this is why I had this discussion this week too, and we've had it on this show several times before. But we are, and I know I've said this before, we are going in 2 completely
diametrically
as
opposed
a country.
Directions. Exactly.
We used to be going along the same path. I would say even under Reagan, we knew who the enemy was. The enemy was the Soviet Union. The enemy was communism. Whether you were a Republican or a Democrat, that was the enemy. The enemy was Muammar Gaddafi. We knew who it was. And although Republicans and Democrats disagreed on other things, there was a common goal or a common direction that the country needed to head. That's not the case anymore. And what I see, and this is just my own observations, is every time our country is pulled in 2 diametrically opposed positions, we end up with bad shit happening. You look at, that happened when we were either going to stay colonies or we were going to be part of Great Britain. You can't have both. Something has to give.
No.
And it did. You look at the Civil War. We are either going to say states have the rights to decide their own destiny related to slavery and the economy, or they don't. Again, slavery being a catalyst issue, correct? So that's you can't have both. Either slavery is going to exist in the South because of their economy.
It was a catalyst issue, but there were other issues.
And this is my point. It was really a states' rights issue, correct? So either the states have the right to decide that issue on a local level, or it is going to be decided on the national level in the law of the land. There is no room for compromise there. It's either one or the other. And look what happened. Well, we have a place now where we are either going to be a constitutional representative republic with individual liberties, or we are going to be a socialist country with doing things for the collective and not the individual. And you can't mesh those two. They are 2 completely different things, and there is no common ground there with those 2 ends of the spectrum.
Okay, here's where I do this. Absolutely correct. And that was Kurt Schlichter's point last night. What he's been saying in his townhall.com columns, folks, you need to read Kurt Schlichter every Monday. I think he comes out with a new column every Monday and Thursday, or Monday and Wednesday. Anyway, he has 2 columns twice a week. And essentially what he says is progressives and leftists hate us. They absolutely hate us
They
if
do.
we're not them. He's got a new book called Militant Normals, and you and I are what he calls a militant normal, meaning we've decided that we're not going to take this crap anymore, and like the top of my blog says, I am pushback. I'm not taking this crap. And what he has also said is somebody's got to win. There's going to be a winner and there's going to be a loser. And we don't want to be the loser, because to operate under progressive, alleged, air quotes, progressive policies means that we give up our rights and we give up our Constitution, which goes directly back to your originally posed question. Do you feel frightened of your government in California? And the answer is yes, because you and I both obviously know where this is going. And they're not going to stop. Leftists, Democrats, the American media maggots, they're not going to stop.
You know, and there was I can't find the quote now. I want to see if I can find it, or maybe you've seen it. They believe, and they'll tell you this, and I wish I had the quote, and I wish I know who said it, so I don't want to quote it and misquote it, so I'm going to leave it alone.
Okay.
But they essentially said, and I want to say it was a teacher related to a student, but I'm not sure, so I'm not gonna say that as gospel.
Okay.
Was essentially asked a question of, well, don't we have freedom of speech? Do Trump supporters not have freedom of speech? Do conservatives not have freedom of speech? And the answer, the response was, well, they are Nazis, they are racists. Because they are Nazis and racists, their speech is hate, and therefore they do not have the same rights to express it as other people.
And that's your theory. That's what you're doing in a scientific method kind of fashion. You have a theory, and then you run it through the scientific method to see if it's correct. And your theory is
my theory,
we're going to lose our freedoms.
Yes. Look, there is the far left truly believes that you and me and most of our listeners do not have a constitutional right to free speech.
We don't deserve it.
Because they believe that by us espousing the liberties that we do and the ideas that we have, that is hate and harmful in their opinion. They equate us with Nazis.
And they will not listen to any arguments otherwise.
They will not. They firmly believe that we are evil. Because we are evil in their minds, we deserve whatever happens to us. They don't care. So this rhetoric of be inclusive about everybody is clearly bullshit.
Is unmitigated bullshit.
It is absolutely bullshit.
I said it before today. You said it also, but Dave Milner also made this point in chat. And that's this. They hate anything that's not them. If you're not exactly in lockstep with them, you're not them. And if you're not them, you're to be destroyed in any fashion. We've got a story coming up next exactly about that.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, let's get into it right now. And
okay,
and
if you're not them, you're going to be destroyed.
You are. And let's look at the baker, the Jack Phillips, the Colorado baker who won at the United States Supreme Court level. He was the one who refused to bake a wedding cake for a same-sex couple. Basically said, "Hey, I'll bake you a cake. I'm more than happy to bake for you. I cannot be part of this celebration based on my religious beliefs." And that's it. Offered to do something else for them. And these two fuckheads, and I'm not saying that because of their sexual orientation.
No, it has nothing to do.
Saying that because they're fucking assholes. Pardon my French. If they would have just accepted his look, he accepts your choices that you're making in life. That's fine. Accept his choice.
No,
you can go to another bakery and get another cake. Why are you gonna fuck with him? Because you don't like to be told no, or he's different than you.
There's a little bit more to it than that.
No, I understand it, but it's they're doing exactly what they're accusing the conservatives of doing.
Well, yeah. So is Antifa.
This jackass comes in.
Can I give a little bit more background?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I was oversimplifying some trying.
Okay, so some of the other things is this guy named Jack Phillips is known in Colorado in that area as being an artist. What he will do is he'll take photographs and he literally creates works of art. Mm-hmm. Basically takes commissions and does them on baked goods, cakes, blah blah, you name it. So when the folks entered into his store and they wanted specifically that, he said, according to my beliefs, I cannot do that, but here's what I can do. You can have any other cake that's in here. You can have any other lettering that's on here. I just won't do that specific customized work for you. By the way, if you don't like any of my cakes, and I will give you, and he offered to give them samples, slices, see what it tastes like. See what it looks like. Anything in here in this store is yours. And if you don't like my store, I'll tell you where there are 3 or 4 different cake shops all around this area in Colorado. That one thing, I just can't do that one thing for you.
Yeah.
He was willing to do anything and everything else.
Yes.
Everything.
Well, this attorney, and this just recently happened, within a day or two ago?
Yep.
This attorney goes into Jack Phillips' shop, and he wants either a pink cake wrapped in a blue cake or a blue cake wrapped in a pink cake. I don't freaking remember. And he tells Jack Phillips it's his transsexual transition cake, because it's a transition cake, transgender cake or whatever, for somebody celebrating going from one gender to another. And Jack Phillips, same thing.
It's a carbon copy.
I'm sorry, I can't do that. Based upon my religious beliefs, I cannot do that cake.
Yeah, you can have anything else in
and
here.
Did I mention this was a fucking attorney that came in to do this?
Right.
He was getting set up. He was getting set up
purposely
from Jump Street. And so now he's getting slapped again by the state of Colorado.
It's the Colorado Human Rights Commission. The Colorado Human Rights Commission are the same people that decided that they were going to attempt to put him out of business, and it was predicated upon that there was a suit. It went up through the various courts and then ended up at the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court ruled in his favor. Yes. Let me go into some detail.
Well, now I will, but I just want to say this one good news. Jack Phillips has filed lawsuit against the Colorado Civil Rights Commission and the governor of Colorado. He took it to them right off the bat. He has filed lawsuit claiming that he's being targeted.
Perfect.
And he is.
Of course he is. I want to read the whole story so that you folks can get the gist and the details of what this entails. This is from the Washington Times. It says, Christian Baker vindicated by SCOTUS back in court for not baking a gender transitioning cake. And the story is this. The Christian Baker, who fought in the Supreme Court to preserve his rights to refuse to make cakes for same-sex weddings, says he is now the target of harassment by the entire state of Colorado and some of its more mischievous residents who have made a crusade out of trying to force him to bake cakes offensive to him. One requester demanded that Jack Phillips bake a cake for Satan, complete with a working sex toy. Another request involved a cake that was blue on the outside and pink on the inside, which wasn't a problem until the caller said that it was meant to commemorate her transition from male to female. Just weeks after the Supreme Court ruled that the state of Colorado had bungled its case against Mr. Phillips over the same-sex wedding cake and found the state showed hostility, that's their quotes, to his religious beliefs, the state of Colorado's Civil Rights Commission slapped him with a judgment over the transgender cake. He said the state crossed the line into harassment, and just as you indicated, Clint, he has sued yesterday, Tuesday, in federal court, asking a judge to order to leave him alone. He says this: for over 6 years now, Colorado has been on a crusade to crush plaintiff Jack Phillips because its officials despise what he believes and how he practices his faith, his attorney said in the lawsuit. Mr. Phillips and Masterpiece Cake Shop have been at the spear's tip of the clash between gay rights advocates and devout business owners who say their beliefs are trampled when they're forced to provide services for messages that they find offensive. So what did we talk about at the break? We talked about, basically, Clint, where is this going to stop for this man?
Yeah, hopefully at the Supreme Court, hopefully before the Supreme Court. I hope this federal judge is Colorado in the 9th or are they in the 4th?
No, they're not in the 9th or the 4th.
Are they in the 6th or the 1st, 2nd?
I'm trying to think
third.
Of I'm trying to think of what's just east of that.
7th.
The 4th goes up to
12th.
I don't know.
I'm going to keep going.
I know.
Just let me know. Just tell me when to stop. I'm going to get there.
The 9th covers a good portion of California. The 4th covers Hawaii. God, I'm going to.
No, 9th covers Hawaii.
I thought 4th covered Hawaii and Washington.
Hawaii's the 9th.
Okay.
So
see, I've forgotten all my Marshall crap already.
I know, what the heck. So obviously it's going to stop. I don't think it's ever going to stop for him. I don't. I think he can get a judgment against the state of California, and I think what's going to happen then is he's going to go back and somebody will want him to bake a cake. Hey, I want you to bake me a I love anal sex cake. Not me personally. I'm using that as an example.
It's just an example.
And he's going to refuse, and the ACLU is then going to sue him civilly for whatever. I don't think it's ever going to stop with him, which is sad.
No, and you and I had this discussion, and what I posited was this. They're going to take each and every individual secular gender that they can think of, and as far as leftists are concerned, there are 30 to 50 of them, depending on whom you talk to and what portion of the day you talk to them.
I thought they love science.
Yeah, well, apparently not. Oh. And they're going to go into his cake shop and make an individual case out of each one of them. They're going to go back in with lesbians. They're going to go back in with people that love autoerotica. They're going to go back in with people that screw animals. Then they're going to go back in with people who believe in pedophilia. And they're going to hit him every damn time, and they're going to make individual cases out of this. And eventually, their goal, I have no doubt about this whatsoever, the goal is to close that shop, bankrupt that shop, bankrupt him, make him hurt, and then punish him on top of all of that so that he can never open any other business, or basically he'll be Darren Wilsoned right out of the entire United States. Anybody hear of Darren Wilson these days? No, because he's afraid of being killed. And eventually that's what they wouldn't mind having done to this guy, because he dared to push back on what it is that they demand. Leftists have gone in they've gone in this triumvirate fashion. I used to say this for quite some time. First, fill in the blank. You know, you talk first. It happened to do with gays and homosexuality. What I initially said was, first they want you to be tolerant, then they demand that you accept, then the final demand is advocacy. And screw the rest of that stuff. If you are not an active advocate of whatever the hell it is, the social justice warrior theme du jour, and you're not an advocate, you are to be destroyed. Yeah. That's where things are today, certainly in California, and they want to bring it all the way across the United States.
And look, there's people now. Look at Cuomo. What Cuomo just said.
Oh, we'll get back to that.
Oh, you don't want to do it now?
No. Let's finish this, and we'll come back with Cuomo, because that's more insane leftist crap as well.
Well,
I mean, do you doubt at all that the end goal of Colorado and the Colorado, whatever the hell it is, Human Rights Commission, they're out to destroy him.
No, of course they are.
They're not out to
and
just say, you know, we understand that you have a business and we won't come after you. Oh, bullshit. They're coming after him every week.
We understand you have a First Amendment right. We didn't need the Supreme Court to tell us that, but apparently we did. You have a First Amendment right, and although we may disagree with you, we realize that we are the government, and it's our job to protect your rights as well, so we're going to stand up for you. How about that?
Yeah, well, that'll never happen. It won't happen in Colorado, and it's not going to happen in California.
It would never
and
happen
that's
in California.
Exactly what you were worried about.
Yes.
You know, and initially,
see how it ties in?
Well, that's why you're brilliant, and that's why you're here tonight and every night, Wednesday, on the SHR Media Network at shrmedia.com. See what I did there?
I see what you did there.
Anyway, the point being is that, like Kurt Schlichter said, they hate us, and they're not going to be happy until we're completely destroyed. And when I talked about his book, People's Republic, and his book, Indian Country, and the new one that he's coming, Militant Normals, what he's saying and advocating is, we can't take this. Mm-hmm. It cannot rest. It cannot set. So just as I told him last night, you know what? Being conciliatory, I'm done. Being bipartisan, I'm done. Compromise, I'm done. I'm done. They're not going to stop. Why am I going to stop? So with those two clashing mindsets going against each other, because as far as I'm concerned, fuck bipartisanship, I'm watching what Antifa is doing day after day after day.
As
you
should.
see it in Sacramento. I see it in Sacramento. Antifa is going to be erupting more crap and more stuff with BLM right here in Sacramento.
Hey, I've said this before, and I've asked our listeners to read it. If you have not read The Coming Insurrection, if you have not picked up a copy of that book,
I have a copy. Maybe I should read it.
Have you not read it?
No. I mean, read it here.
If you have time. Yeah.
No, like little bits and pieces.
Oh, sure.
I'll bring it in little
folks,
bits and pieces. So
if you have not read The Coming Insurrection, I highly recommend you read The Coming Insurrection. It's written by members of the quote-unquote Shadow Society. Comes out of Europe. They are a communist group. I don't even want to say group because they're so disjointed and unorganized. But if you look at
not for long,
if you look at kind of what they are and who they are, I have zero doubt that Antifa is part of that movement. Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
It's them.
And you look at what's going on around the country. You look at the white nationalist rallies and who are the ones committing the violence first. Seems to be Antifa. Why Antifa can't allow that? They shouldn't be able to allow them, but the people that you disagree with can't have a protest and exercise their First Amendment rights. Look, I'm no fan of Antifa, but if they showed up to have a peaceful protest and espouse their bullshit, I would support their First Amendment right to do that.
Anybody should have a right to protest peacefully and quietly within the constraints of a law.
Absolutely.
We are a nation of laws.
And
we abide by the rule of law.
And how is Antifa not a domestic terrorist organization? Antifa sets out for groups that they disagree with. They set out to keep people, prohibit them from expressing their First Amendment rights.
Yeah, to include reporters. Folks, we're going to have to take
a break.
Yeah, we're going to have to take a break. We'll be right back. And it's funny how the American media maggots, though, they had a bunch of their own reporters lumped up here recently, and they still support Antifa. We're going to take a break. We're going to come right back.
Conservative media
You be
done
here.
right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capitol, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon Radio Show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad.
When dirty politicians, shadow governments, and deceptive Islam blind the world with fake stream media smoke, their only fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through shrmedia.com, highplanestalkradio.com, and the Western Free Radio Network at Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes for a different perspective weekly on the Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender ever,
because truth is not always pleasant.
Hey guys, it's Sackhead Clint. I'm excited to tell you about a brand new show here on the SHR Media Network. I'm teaming up with the one and only all-powerful, the bloviating Zeppelin, sitting here to my left, bringing to you a fresh new show here on the network. It's Against Tyranny. And we'll be picking up where the Sackheads left off. Excited to be with you, sir.
Sackheads against tyranny.
We're going to chat. We're going to chat Wednesday nights.
SHAT.
Sackheads against tyranny.
Wednesday nights, 11 p.m. Oh, it's the same time, right? 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific.
Same sack time, same sack channel.
Yep. SHRmedia.com.
See what I did there?
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
Hey, BZ. So the plan's working. You got rid of Sacco. Sean is now stepping away.
I never even saw him.
And I know, and insidious. Insidious. You know, we talked about this for, for the last 3 years. And finally coming to fruition.
You know I'm still in the room, right?
It's almost like he's here still. Did you hear that?
Yeah, it's kind of...
It's amazing. It's kind of
at you.
It's kind of eerie.
Kind of a poltergeist.
Like a poltergeisty thing.
Yeah, sackheads against tyranny.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you are listening to the Sackheads Against Tyranny, otherwise known as the SHAT Show, because that's exactly what it is, a SHAT show, originating out of Sacramento, Fornicalia. For the people that are in the SHAT room, I say hello, good evening, and again, glad to see Joe and Simone and Mike and Fred and Dave and Andy and Beantown, Billy and Sean and guest 6217, and of course, one viewer who will not be unmasked because we don't do that. We respect people who are masked here in the Sackheads Against Tyranny show. Sackhead Sean sent me a, by the way, Sackhead's Clint had to go make a very important phone call. Sackhead Sean sent me a screen capture of, is the Shat Cat there? Dave Milner says, the Shat Cat is, well, wait a minute. Let's see. Here's Clyde Cam, so you can see that Clyde, the Bob, we either call him Clyde or we call him Bob Cat. We haven't exactly chosen a real name for the Bobcat. That's from my Tuesday and Thursday night show, the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon. Or perhaps, I don't know, maybe Dave is wondering if the actual real cat, the Calico Cat, the one, by the way, that loves Sackhead Sean. And this cute little kitty is named, by the way, all calicos are female. Don't know if you guys knew that or not. But Sackhead Sean has a great little kitty cat called Demi, which comes to visit every now and then from across the street and down the corner and around your block. In the meantime, Sackhead Sean sent out a, I think he created a poll. I'm not sure if it's on Twitter or Facebook. I can't quite tell from the background. Maybe it's even on SHR Media. It's on Twitterbook or Facer. Yes. Okay, Twitterbook or Facer is where this is. And he created a poll, and it says, are you afraid that the California state government will suppress your First Amendment rights? And so, if you happen to be on Twitterbook or Facer, then, yeah, respond.
Can we call it Twitbook?
QuickBook?
Twitbook.
Because it's run Why a bunch of twits? Is that what you
I
mean?
didn't say that. It's just it's a combination of the two names.
Right, exactly. Sean in chat says, Demi, she's probably outside.
She is.
Yeah, and wow, 6217 says, good to hear the show live for a change. Phew. Wow, see, that's kind of from a screw up at the beginning of the show because I sort of Bigfooted my ass and played part of the interview that I'm going to play tomorrow night from an author that I spoke to earlier today because he couldn't be here live, so I had to pre-record his interview, and I'm going to play the whole thing tomorrow night, and I'll Bigfoot myself again. That was Terrence McCauley, and he's a great guy. I've had him on twice before. Anyway, Spreaker started playing that damn interview about 7:30 for whatever reason. I think most folks went up and hit it didn't autoplay, but I think a lot of folks clicked the yellow arrow to start it, thinking that, hey, maybe it was live already, or Memorex, and it turned out that Spreaker just
I know what you did there. I see what you did there.
Damn show.
I see what you did there. Maybe it's Memorex. That's a throwback to, there are millennials who would have no idea what you were referring to.
Memorex?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. But see, even kind of younger people still say, instead of video, some still say tape.
Tape. But they don't know why.
Yeah, I that's completely correct. Oh, wait, Sean says it wasn't on autoplay. LOL, BZ is as bad as Clint as blaming technology. Okay. Sean? Why did that happen? See, I thought that's why it happened, but if that's not what happened, you can tell us in the chat room, and I'll be happy to expand on that and let people know what it is that you thought happened.
Oh, I got
that's
an idea.
what I thought happened.
I got an idea, Sean. How about you get your little ass over here, and you get into studio, and you come over here and you start handling some business rather than sitting over there.
He's sipping
issuing
mimosas.
direction.
Yeah, he's sipping mimosas.
Friggin' backseat driving over here on the show. You know, sit back there with your little sippy cup and your little pinky out, sit in the back seat and hold on and just go for the ride. Enjoy the ride.
Listen,
enjoy the scenery.
He's sipping mimosas, and he's having somebody, probably a cool chick, take that canned whipped cream and put it on his toes, and probably she's, like sucking his toes right now.
I don't know.
I didn't know that he had a foot fetish. I mean, he could. It's not impossible.
He might. He might.
That could be somebody with a foot fetish that would go into Jack Phillips' cakery and say, hey, I want you to draw a picture of a foot on a cake and someone sucking their toes.
A hooker. It's got to be a hooker.
Yeah. And by the way, in the background, there's somebody throwing rocks.
That that was not me.
Okay.
Per se.
No.
It's a great game, though.
It's true. It's true.
Any response from Sean?
No. Texas Fred said, damn, laughing my ass off. And Sean said, yes, piss the guy off who fixes everything.
You're not fixing anything right now there, Sparky. You're over there bitching like my freaking wife. Sit over there and just fucking let the men work, okay?
If you're watching this in color right now, by the way, after laughing, my face is as red as my shirt.
Jesus.
And then Sean says, look up with your old ass. Wait a minute. He's not talking about me, is he?
What's he talking about?
Yeah.
Hey, is he talking about me?
Hey,
you know what? Listen, BZ, as somebody who works here,
I am an
and him
employee.
Obviously using age and interjecting that, I think that, listen,
I gotta tell you what he said next.
I'm a witness to this incredibly heinous EEO violation.
Okay, Sackhead Sean just said, who mounted your new camera, you fucking diva? Now that's some funny shite.
Oh my God.
Okay, which story do you want to do next? We did Jack Phillips. We didn't do the ISIS dude who was actually arrested here in Sacramento.
Yeah.
And then we got John Brennan. We got Democrats who want socialism over capitalism.
I want to take.
Where do you want to go?
I want to take Governor Cuomo for
$100.
$500. Yeah.
Or for $500.
For $500. Okay. Yeah, this quote is just great.
Okay, let me see if I can find that story. Oh wait, yeah, here we go. Yeah, let me see. My computer is running out of RAM, and let me see if I have an actual audio cut in here. And unfortunately, this is CNN, and I don't think, no, they didn't throw an audio cut.
Of course not.
In here.
Of course not.
Because, oh, no. Wait. There may be an audio cut. Well, do you want to introduce it and tell people what happened? And then I'll just go to the audio cut.
So Cuomo is giving a speech, and he was talking about the bullshit that the left talks about. But he makes the statement, something to the effect of, and you'll hear the audio, but he's talking about Donald Trump wanting to go backwards and talking about how great America was. He said, and he basically says something to the effect of, why would you want to go backwards? America was never that great anyways.
Which
there were even the crowd he was talking to.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. And if I can get this cut to play, you would first think that maybe the crowd erupted into a massive explosion of applause.
Yes.
No, it didn't.
No.
As a matter of fact,
there were people that actually.
It kind of caught some folks flat-footed.
It did,
so to speak.
It did, and Trump actually responded that he's had, quote, a total meltdown.
And this is a New York governor.
Yes.
A sitting New York governor. Let me see if I can get this to play here. Oh, wait, no, it's going to play me an ad. Well, so we'll talk for a couple more seconds. This is a sitting governor in the state of New York. And the state of New York, by the way, is the one that just recently elected Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to that. Okay, here we go.
We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great.
Okay, let me go back. I missed the complete thing. You need to hear the entire portion of this, of what sitting governor.
He says we're not going to make America great again. It was never that great.
Look, the simple point is all this comes down to this. We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great. We have not.
Now, did you hear the continuous applause on that? Oh, Andrew, that's such a brilliant thought. And the answer is no, you didn't.
Reached greatness. We will reach greatness when every American is fully engaged. We will reach
engaged. Sackheads Clint. What the hell does he mean, engaged? What does that mean?
I don't know. My headphones don't work because our tech guy obviously doesn't do anything around here other than mount cameras.
Okay.
But
all right. Well, I'm done with that cut. But we got.
Well, I hope Sean heard that, by the way,
because
that
the basic
was
gist
totally
out
for
of it.
his benefit.
Yeah.
I think I want to thank Andrew Cuomo for giving us exactly what we needed for not only the midterm elections, but for the upcoming elections in 2020 as well. Because that quote is going to be played and played and played and played and played and played and played. As far as, hey, this is what the left thinks of you. Even though it's him, whether he's running for an office or not, that's going to be hung around his neck. BZ?
Here we go. Okay, I found it. All right. I found I created a hashtag. And the hashtag, this cut that I just played would fit perfectly into this. I created what I called the hashtag of the GOP Video Challenge. And I threw this out to everyone, and it's out on Twitter. And what I said is this, and Cuomo's a perfect example. That's about a 5 or 6 or 7 second, very salient and important soundbite that needs to be replayed. But my hashtag was GOP, and go there and look at it and support it, or make a video, better yet. It was GOP Video Challenge. And as I indicated in Twitter, what is that? Well, it's this. For all you conservative videographers, content creators, producers, etc. out there, 1, make a video that the GOP should play for the midterms. 2, include video clips and sound bites from the Democrats. 3, it should be no more than 60 seconds. And number 4, skewer leftists. And the reason I created that, and the hashtag is GOP Video Challenge. And with each new word, it's capitalized. GOP Video Challenge, hashtag. And what I'm saying is, why are we dependent upon the GOP to help itself? We know from history that the GOP is frequently its own worst enemy. There are tons of conservatives out there who are videographers and editors and know how to work in computers and know how to assemble all these various sound bites that Hillary Clinton has made, Cuomo has made, all the people on CNN, the things that they've made and said, Elizabeth Warren, Hillary Clinton, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is the damn gift that keeps on giving. And if you want to make a generic GOP video, then just go out into the ozone, go search YouTube or any other source, LexisNexis, Grabian, whatever the heck it is, assemble a compendium of, at most, like I say, a 60-second video clip, and let the Demorats destroy themselves in their own words. You and I both know that there isn't more than a handful of GOP people now these days, extant, who have the nuts or the wherewithal to create an ad that will really convince people. Are the Demorats the folks we really want to hand the reins of power over to in November? Let their own words skewer them. Let their own words and phrases hoist them on the petard of their own creation. It's all out there in the ozone. Give me an assload of videographers. Give me an assload of people who know how to edit in Adobe Premiere or in real time or whatever the hell it is that Apple uses. Or I learned to edit in Avid a number of years ago. There are tons of people out there who have the capability and the creativity and the knowledge to be able to go and do that. So that's what I started. I'm saying for all those people, do go create. Be the best envoy for the GOP that you possibly can. The GOP Video Challenge. I'm throwing it out to anybody who's a conservative that wants to be with the GOP. Create a video, and are you ready to be on, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I just told everybody about the GOP Video Challenge.
I like the video challenge. I can't be on video right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't. Because if I have to sneak out, I don't want it so obvious that I'm sneaking out.
Okay. So basically, I can't do this either.
No, because if I have to sneak out again.
Okay. And I definitely can't do this.
No.
That's
horrible.
Really?
Yeah, look at the head on that thing.
Okay. So you like this then? Okay, it's a great BMW Police Motors hat. Anyway, the GOP Video Challenge. You need to go there, and if you are facile with computers and cameras and editing programs, etc., man, you could create the world's greatest kick-ass pro-GOP or conservative video that you could ever imagine. Because I know for a fact that there are incredible content creators out there. I see your videos on Twitter. I see your videos on Facebook. Some of these are extraordinary videos. And there's no reason that people that can create videos like this can't take their creativity and use it in a positive fashion for the GOP and for conservatives. Because like Kurt Schlichter said in November, we win or we lose. It's no more difficult than that. We talked about Jack Phillips. You want to talk about John Brennan, or you want to talk about the ISIS dude? Your call, sir.
Oh, let's talk about John Brennan.
Okay. All right. This is lovely. This is something that I've said for quite some time from someone who had at one point a top secret and then a Q clearance because I worked for certain federal agencies and I didn't get a choice. And here's the weird thing. When I left, do you think I carried my security clearance with me?
No, of course not.
No, of course not, because they're
No
not
need
stupid
anymore.
and I didn't need it.
Yeah.
By the way, there's that funny word, need.
Need.
And it comes with another 2 words after it, and that's how whether or not
to know
you should have a security clearance is
to know.
Exactly. Do you have
need
currently
to know.
a need to know that information? And damn us, because this is all going to be made out to be political. Imagine that. But John Brennan today lost his security clearance. That should have happened years and years ago. It happened to me. It happened to every employee. It will happen to every employee, basically on the line level and above to a certain degree. When you leave any kind of a classified atmosphere, you're cut off from the mainframe. You are completely de-rezzed out of the system. Here's an article from the Washington Times. Brennan first to fall as Trump kicks off review of Obama officials' access. Now, there are 2 aspects to this, but I'm going to read the story first, and then we'll discuss both of those aspects. President Trump on Wednesday personally revoked the security clearance of former CIA Director John O. Brennan, a bitter and vocal Trump critic. Correct. Citing his erratic conduct and behavior. Stop. I found this very unusual and interesting because when you find various agencies backgrounding you, when they go to others around you, your neighbors, co-workers, etc., one of the primary questions when folks are backgrounding you for a security clearance will be couched or phrased utilizing that very specific word. And the question will say something very, very similar to, sir or ma'am, have you ever witnessed BZ under the influence of any kind of strange or erratic behavior? And, of course, the person that they're talking to will either say yes or no, and if it's a yes, then they're asked to give a description of what the heck happened, and that is used to adjudge whether or not you will be the recipient of a top-secret clearance. You would want it that way. You always want it that way because you want to find out the nature of the individual who's doing the background. Or, excuse me, the person that's being background-ed. Okay? So I found that phrase, citing his erratic conduct and behavior. That's a phrase right out of the background aegis. As their clashes escalated over the special counsel's Russia investigation. In a statement, Mr. Trump declared, it was the first move in a White House review of access of top Obama-era intelligence and law enforcement officials, and it's believed to be the first time a president has taken such a direct and public role in shutting off a security clearance. Now, at first blush, I guess that would be like, oh, that's so harsh and judgmental. We'll discuss that. In a statement, Mr. Trump declared that Mr. Brennan has a history that calls into question his objectivity and credibility. I completely concur with that. Mr. Brennan has recently leveraged his status as a former high-ranking official with access to highly sensitive information to make a series of unfounded and outrageous allegations, wild outbursts on the internet and television about this administration, Trump said. Okay, stop. What do I got? About another 2 minutes to the bottom of the hour break. It's interesting to note the argument that's crafted on behalf of John Brennan against this decision. And again, we'll get into this decision and its ramifications. But the argument is, because essentially they have no other argument other than this is Trump just being punitive. Well, actually, this is Trump being sensible. The problem with the issue is that not only he, but everybody else should have done something about this literally decades ago. For the people, the peons on my level, we got our ass kicked to the curb immediately upon severance of employment. Boom, done, gone. But that's the way it ought to be. You wouldn't want me to have access to any of that information, because once my need to know stops, then all of my access to any of that classified or potentially classified information should stop too. And it did. And it does, except for certain personnel in politics, to include all these high-ranking fuzzballs who retire and just assume that their security clearances are going to be they're going to be grandfathered from now into perpetuity. And now it's being, the argument is, well, Trump is just being judgmental, and it's because John Brennan had the temerity and the guts to stand up for America. Really. By the way, did everybody here, are you all cognizant of the fact that John Brennan, prior to 1980, was a communist?
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capitol, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon Radio Show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad.
When dirty politicians, shadow governments, and deceptive Islam blind the world with fake stream media smoke, their only fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through shrmedia.com, highplanestalkradio.com, and the Western Free Radio Network at Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes for a different perspective weekly on the Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender ever,
because truth is not always pleasant.
Hey guys, it's Sackhead Clint. I'm excited to tell you about a brand new show here on the SHR Media Network. I'm teaming up with the one and only all-powerful, the bloviating Zeppelin, sitting here to my left, bringing to you a fresh new show here on the network. It's Against Tyranny. And we'll be picking up where the Sackheads left off. Excited to be with you, sir.
Sackheads against tyranny.
We're going to chat. We're going to chat Wednesday nights. Sackheads Against Tyranny.
Wednesday nights, 11 p.m. Oh, it's the same time, right? 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific.
Same SAC time, same SAC channel.
Yep. SHRmedia.com.
See what I did there?
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
Hey, BZ. So the plan's working. You got rid of Sacco. Sean is now stepping away.
I never even saw him.
And I know, and insidious. You know, we talked about this for for the last 3 years, and finally coming to fruition.
You know I'm still in the room, right?
It's almost like he's here still. Did you hear that?
Yeah, it's kind of.
It's amazing. It's kind of
at you.
It's kind of eerie.
Kind of a poltergeist.
Like a poltergeisty thing.
Yeah, sackheads against tyranny.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Well, folks, the circumstances are such that it's going to be me for the rest of the show. And Clint had to leave. He had to do some important stuff. Maybe one day we'll be able to tell you what kind of that important stuff is, but let's just say for right now he can't be here. He has to do something else. We were talking about John Brennan and how John Brennan is crying. All the leftists, I'm sorry, it's not just John Brennan, but everybody else is crying the blues because John Brennan got cut off. And I made the point essentially that, you know what? He should. And everybody that leaves should. And so, BZ, who's left? Who should lose their security clearance? Well, everyone. Certainly everyone in the Obama administration. There is no good reason for any of them to have a security clearance with these caveats. And these caveats are things that I just happen to know, and I don't know, maybe even the media is talking about them, but I'll give them to you because I just happen to know off the top of my head, having to deal with some of this junk. Brennan could make an argument, I would guess, that he needs his security clearance because one of his jobs would be to consult with his with his successor. His successor would need to come down from on high in D.C. and talk to John Brennan and say something similar to, John, I certainly so much value your input that you and I, sir, we need to speak tete-a-tete right now, and I need your valuable input as to how you handled the administration under Obama. And I want to know, by the way, John Brennan, why is it that Russia seemed to infiltrate every aspect of America under Obama's rule and while you were there as well? Because that stuff didn't happen under Trump. It all happened under you, 2016 and before. So John Brennan, by the way, who wasn't consulted by anyone, and there's no need to consult John Brennan, so that potential loophole is done. It's gone. Oh, but wait. John Brennan, he needs this. He needs his security clearance to be able to talk on CNN because, oh, that's right. Did I tell you that? Yeah, you already know. John Brennan is paid. He's a paid mouthpiece for CNN, which basically says all you need to know. Does he ever go over to Fox News just to talk about Fox News and to be an equitable speaker of certain opinions? And the answer is no, because he is politically biased as the day is long. So you have to ask yourself also, how did this turd get his security clearance in the first place? Because literally, you can go into, I don't know, Wikipedia or get on your favorite search page and type in there something like John Brennan communist. And then you'll find something like, oh, that's right, John Brennan was a communist. Except that John Brennan, now if there's any collusion or questions of collusion or conspiracy, why is no one asking why John Brennan, a former communist, wasn't somehow involved in, because he's in charge of intelligence for the entire United States of America. Why is it impossible that John Brennan couldn't have sub rosa, contacted Russia, and tried to see if it was possible for Russia to influence the election in terms of making sure that Donald John Trump, the guy with the dead orange cat on his head, isn't installed as president, whereas Hillary Rodham Clinton, because it's her turn, she does get installed as president, but November 9th, that shit just didn't happen. It was a brand new day on November 9th. So, does John Brennan have a need to know? No. Done. Gone. Derezzed. Out of the system. And all those other people as well. Comey, gone. I'm sure if Donald John Trump is starting a pogrom, that's where he needs to continue. And not stop with Comey. And not stop with McCabe. Or not stop with, I don't know, Susan Rice. Or James Clapper, the guy that lied to Congress and lied to your face and my face when he said, oh, the NSA, we don't monitor anyone. We would never do that illegally. By the way, in that video, because I'm taught this by Paul Ekman, as he's answering, he's looking down at the table. That's called a clue, you lying piece of crap. Anytime you happen to see that video and he's answering that question, watch him. Watch his body mannerisms. Sometimes the body is displayed in a fashion as it absolutely betrays what's coming out of your mouth. And as a person who is a veteran interrogator and interviewer, I watch for that stuff. Because I've been paid to watch for that stuff. And I have a pretty good idea when people are lying to me. So none of those people deserve security clearances. Oh, well, you can't stop him from making coin, right? What if he wants to be a contractor and make lots of money in D.C. with his bounteous knowledge? It overflows like a turd in a punch bowl. And then people, scoop it up and they hand it around. Ooh, visual. Ooh, bad visual. But he should be able to make bank as a contractor. Really? What's his need to know? Is he working in a consultancy for, say, McDonnell Douglas? And he's giving information to McDonnell Douglas, the skunk works, about information that he might happen to know about, say, Russian aircraft and their design? Okay, if he wants a security clearance as a contractor, do what everybody else does, John. Reapply. And then the government and DOD, because now it's DOD that's handling these requests, DOD will sit you down and talk to you. But I can guarantee you, each one of these morons, it's offensive to have to sit down again and go through an interview with someone who's going to background, I'm John Brennan. I don't get backgrounded. It's like a famous General Mattis quote. And General Mattis had a quote, and there was an Air Force general that my dad and my family were having dinner with one time at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. This is back in like 1969. And I can remember this big-ass general towering over my dad. And because he was a full bird colonel, we had base housing. We would frequently have generals over to dinner. And this guy had thick glasses, thick black glasses. And I can distinctly remember this quote. Somebody asked him, Dad, maybe Mom, asked him, and, your days you must be filled with a lot of problems and pain. And it might have been Mom who says, I bet you get a lot of headaches. And he said, no, I don't get headaches. I give them. And that's exactly what General Mattis said, if I'm not mistaken. Someone once asked General Mattis, you must lose a lot of sleep at night. And he said, no, I make other people lose sleep at night. John Brennan, what's his need to know? Is he going to be a contractor? No. So here's the deal, Johnny. If you don't have a need to know, and you don't, and you're not a contractor, which he isn't, and if the intelligence community isn't requiring your expertise, then you don't have a need to know, and you shouldn't be issued any kind of a security clearance at all. Oh, and that's right. Yeah, that pesky communist thing. Clapper and anybody and everybody in the intelligence community under Obama, they all need to have their security clearances derezzed, and that's going to be the big difference. And Donald John Trump isn't a politician, and that's damn clear. But what he needs to do is make an edict in some fashion, through the DOD perhaps, that everyone upon retirement or leaving employment loses their security clearance, period, end of statement. All you dudes and dudettes, All of you. Now, if you think you're going to do something in the future, or you want to be a contractor, you can reapply. But we will only consider it when you are a contractor, when you have a job, and that specific job demands that you have a need to know those certain things. There are private people, there are civilians who have security clearances as high as anyone in government. How do you think everyone built the first Dragon Lady from Lockheed? How do you think they did the SR-71? How do you think they built that? Because they needed to have security clearances to do all of those things and construct those wonderful aircraft, etc. You know, go all the way down the defense line. There are certainly requisite situations where civilians are going to need to have security clearances, and you do the same thing for all these political cockbites that you do for the civilians as well. It really isn't much more complicated than that. But Trump should continue it with Comey, with McCabe, certainly with Peter Strzok, who was fired. Oh, by the way, did you know that Peter Strzok, makes me think of the Queen song, Stroke, he has a GoFundMe page, and he's raised over $300,000 because he's been so offended. Yeah, OPR and DOJ determined, you're not credible, and you're a liar, and you need to get out of Dodge. And Bowditch, the number 2 who replaced McCabe in the FBI, Bowditch finally said, yeah, I think OPR's got a point, and I think you need to leave. And I suspect they were kind of doing it sub rosa for a while, but they finally ended up kicking him out because, as you well know, government employees have due process rights, and my guess would be it took them this long to conduct that myriad of due process rights that I'm certain Peter Strzok took well advantage of, and his attorney. By the way, is there anyone within the sound of my voice who doesn't think, in my opinion, that doesn't think that Peter Strzok looks like a psychopath, a sociopath, and not just looks like it, but acts like it as well? Would you have ever, in possible human ken, have ever thought that an FBI agent, a supervising FBI agent, who at one time was the entire head of the counterterrorism unit in all of the FBI. That's how much power this guy had. That you would ever see you would be witness to an FBI agent conducting himself behind closed doors and also in the public, as Peter Strzok did in front of Congress. And the answer is clearly no. I never was witness to that. I would never have conjured that up in a million years. Well, folks, Sackhead's Clint is not here, and I'm running out of stories, and I want to thank you for being here. And I will say this. I am going to be here tomorrow night, and we're going to talk to author Terrence McCauley here in the saloon, because the blue flag will be up. The thin blue line flag will be up for the show tomorrow night. It'll be a lot darker in here. Hey, that's what you see in a saloon, right? So I'm going to be here tomorrow night, same bat time, same bat channel, 8 p.m. and 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. Best wishes for Sackhead's Clint in whatever it is he's doing, whatever endeavor it is that he must perform. Thanks to everybody, and I mean everybody, for being in chat. This was a packed-ass chat room tonight, and I really appreciate it. I would love to see a chat room this packed for my show tomorrow night, because I'm going to talk about all kinds of crazy stuff. Maybe John Brennan. Any of the silliness and the craziness that occurs not just in this state, but all across the fruited plain. And I got to say, you know what? Vote red in November. Overwhelm the vote. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being in chat. Thanks for listening. Come back next Wednesday for the Sackheads Against Tyranny.